Alright guys, so as you can see I got the floorboards coated in some bed liner, and don't mind the little specks of white. That's just some fiberglass where I was drilling the hole for the seat here. And yeah, I didn't get all these areas up in here because I figured out after I had already poured out some of the bed liner that I didn't have a brush, and so I wasn't able to get all the areas, but I got the patches and the important parts, and I think it looks excellent. So I'm gonna go ahead and put the seats back in, and I can always come back later and touch up the areas that I missed if I want to, and you know, because mostly they're up in the high spot, so they're not gonna get water sitting in them anyways. But so yeah, I think it looks good. And I had painted my seats with the vinyl paint, and so they turned out really good. And yeah, they will wear off eventually, but for now they look good. And I also put some on my steering wheel there, so that looks excellent too. I'm gonna go ahead and put the seats back in and see what they look like. Alright guys, so just got my seats back in, and when I had first bought the Corvette, the driver's side seat wouldn't stay locked into position, and I didn't know it at the time, but I kept thinking that it only seemed like the seat was moving only like an inch or so, you know, and I figured it should go a couple inches at least. So when I took them out, I discovered that it wasn't locking, because kind of what I thought it was, the spring on the lock-in lever down there was rusted out, and it wasn't going all the way forward and backward, because this side over here was froze up to a certain point, so it only moved like a little bit. And so I worked those back and forth on both of them. They were kind of stiff, and got them to moving freely again, pretty freely anyways. They got like little bearings or little balls in them that spin and help them, and plus the track. And then on that side, I just took off the spring temporarily off the passenger seat and put it on the driver's side seat, just so I could adjust this one, because I don't need that one to adjust. I just want to leave it all the way back all the time, you know. And I can always put a spring in there when I take the seats back out to put the seat belts in, whenever that is, on down the road, before I start driving it. So I think they look awesome in here. I can't wait to get the rest of the gray in, and that's what I'll be doing the next couple days when I have time, is painting stuff gray probably. So I just thought I'd show you guys that, and that's it for now. Okay guys, so I've been doing a kind of a continuation of the work that I started in the last video on the Corvette here, and basically I kind of finished the floorboard repairs. I sprayed undercoating stuff all up underneath them, and I think I showed you in the last video that I actually put a bed liner in the inside here, and then I put my seats back in. And as you can see, I also got some of my interior pieces back in, and some other ones painted. So I've pretty much got every interior piece painted gray, except for the door panels here. And I think it looks really good. I was really happy with the gray. And as you can see, I got the whole dash out. Looked kind of sketchy, you know, with all the wires hanging out and everything, but it actually wasn't too bad taking it apart as I thought it was going to be. So I think somebody had been kind of messing around with it a little bit before, and so it wasn't, you know, all like factory tight or whatever you want to call it. So I had those painted, and I'm just waiting on getting my speedometer fixed before I put it all back together. The speedometer, when I drove it to test drive it, it was like kind of bouncing around and stuff, and not working right, and the odometer wasn't turning over. So I didn't know exactly what was wrong, but I took the speedometer apart, and actually one of the worm gears, I think it's considered the third worm gear, was actually worn on one side. So I can buy that and replace it, but I don't want to just replace it and put it all back together, because whatever caused it might do it again, and I'll be having to take the dash apart and replace it again. So I got to kind of figure out why it wasn't doing it. I don't know if another gear stuck, or if the odometer counter stuck, or whatever you want to call it. So I gotta look into that a little bit more. So I don't know when I'll get the dash back together. Hopefully fairly soon, because I want to see it all together with the gray in there. And I think that's pretty much it for that part. I want to show you over here. I did paint actually yesterday. Let me turn the light on here. I painted my center console piece here with the same green that I used for my gauges. I don't know if I showed you guys that or not. And I don't know if it's going to be the actual green that I'm going to use on the outside of the car, because it's like in a spray can, and it's like kind of got a metal flake appearance to it, and I don't really want that. But I thought it would be cool to have like two different colors, so like a different gray on the inside, then it's going to be on the outside. The outside it's going to be quite a bit darker than the inside, actually. I know I said it was pretty close in the last couple of videos, but it's actually going to be quite a bit darker. So that'd be cool, like two-tone appearance, and the same thing with the the green. So they're going to be like, you know, a different green. It's going to be really dark green, but it's not going to be metal flake. It's going to be solid for the outside stripe and everything. And then on the inside it'll be this green, and it'll be kind of like a nice difference in their contrast. So I'm actually going to pull the tape off right now and see what it looks like. So I like that. I don't know how well it shows up in the light, but it is a nice color of green there against that gray. So I think what I'm going to do today is maybe just crank up the vet. I'll hook up my gauges again. So I don't know if you can see, but it's got that same green on it there, and that looks awesome. So I'll crank it up after I hook those up, just so I have my temp and my oil pressure, so I can keep an eye on it. And then I'll just drive it down the driveway and see if I can see my speedometer cable turning or not. That way I know, you know, if that could be contributing to the problem or not. And I think that's pretty much it for today, because I gotta do some other stuff, homework and that kind of stuff, and I gotta work the next 3 days, so I don't know how much I'm gonna be doing on the car then, but we'll see. I get paid Friday, so that's always good. Money's going to go toward this. Probably a new power steering pump and whatever else I can buy. So that's it for now. So I had a little bit of time before I had to go to school this morning, and I just thought I'd come out here and just kind of make another clip to wrap up this video, so I can get started on the next part, which I will be pretty soon. So I can't remember exactly how much I showed you guys, but as you can see, I painted the entire interior of the car gray, except for the seat belt things right there, which I just didn't paint them when I was putting the seats back in, because I wanted to hurry and get the seats back in, and you know, I started putting other stuff in there. So I'll do it one of these days, or wait until I pull the seats back out to put the seat belts in, or you know, whatever. But everything else looks awesome, and you can also see here that what I was talking about, I sprayed the same green that I used over here for my center console and gauge cluster there. I don't know how well you can see that, but it's actually, it looks black, but it's actually a nice kind of metallic-ish green. It turned out darker on this fake wood stuff there though, but I still think it looks awesome. I got that on both sides. I'm going to put a little pinstriping down it or something like that, you know. And I don't have the center part of the dash in with the speedometer and everything, because I'm waiting on one of the worm gears for the speedometer, because that's why it wasn't working. I think I mentioned that. So I gotta wait for that before I can put this back in. But everything else is back in, and looks good. I'm gonna leave the floors like they are right now. I should be getting the speedometer gear pretty soon, in the next like week or so. But before that, I got paid, I don't know, what was the last Friday, I think. So I have enough money to do some things on this, and one of them is going to be replacing my power steering pump. I think I mentioned that it was leaking, And I'm going to replace one of the hoses on there too, just while I have it off, you know, might as well replace that. And then I'm also going to buy rear brake calipers, because I need those. They're froze up. And I should have enough money left over from that stuff to buy at least some of the stuff to begin my headlight project. Now I don't know if I've said this or not before, but I'm going to make these headlights fixed headlights. And now before you say anything, I like the way they look right now with the covers on them, you know. I've always loved the look of... Taz, I'm trying to make a video. Why don't you be quiet, okay? Claire, hush. Alright. So I've always liked the way the covers look here, you know, when they're down. They just look real sleek and smooth, and I don't want to mess that body style up. So, but I don't like the way they look when they're up, really. I mean, I know it's a classic, you know, Corvette and whatever, but I just don't like the way they look that much. And, you know, even though you do drive it at night, you still see it, you know, at like traffic lights or whatever. So, I want to make them fixed headlights, and I'm going to do them like my brother's Corvette, or not Corvette, Camaro. He's doing some body work on it. But I'm going to make them like these kind of headlights here. As you can see, it looks almost exactly like the, you know, shape of my light hole or recess or whatever. So I'm going to buy some of those Camaro headlights and stick them in there. I'll probably fabricate like the bed for them out of fiberglass and whatever I need, you know. And then I'll just make some covers that look exactly like the stock ones, and I'll just have those to be able to remove them. I saw a guy do it on the internet, and his looked good, so I thought it was a really good idea. And so that way you keep the same look that it has right now when they're down, and nobody knows it's not stock. And then when you want to have the headlights, you know, if it's raining or it's nighttime, you just pull those covers off and stick them in the car, and voila, they look awesome. So that's what I'm going to be doing with the paycheck I got. So that'll probably about eat that up. But that's, you know, 3 big things that I've been needing, and that'll make it look good. So enough of me blabbing. I guess that's the end of part, what is this, 13? Yep, end of part 13. So see you guys in part 14. Ain't that right, Chaz?